is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Now, your hosts, Mickey Spagnola, Rob Phillips, Everson Walls, and Bill Jones.
It is a foggy Tuesday here at the Star in Frisco as we're live from the SWBC Mortgage Studio talking Cowboys. How about that, Nate Newton? Joining Talking Cowboys yet again. You happy to be back, Nate?
Yes, I'm happy to be back with Mick and two new guys. I'm going to meet the other guy here soon, I hope.
This is Hekma Harrison across the way.
And social distances.
You can't. That's a three-time Super Bowl
That wasn't
champion.
an elbow. That's all I got to say.
Well,
Somebody bring out the hand sanitizer.
And I'm way too close to Kyle, too.
What?
I mean,
6 feet.
I've got lice all over
Did
there.
you see the news lately?
No, I don't watch the news.
The anchors are like 12 feet away from each other.
Are they really?
They're barely in the picture.
Now I might have to watch the news.
So our intro's dwindling. Now we're
What'd you say, Nate?
one out of four.
What'd you say, Nate? Why we in here? I'm serious, and I don't want to get deep into this, but okay, I understand you may not want to touch, but this thing is airborne as well as touching. It's people that's been sitting at home, haven't been nowhere for a month, and go out and all of a sudden they got something. They go to the doctor and they have it, and the doctor said, "Where you been?" "I've been at home." So don't tell me just touching getting it done. It's the whole deal.
Right.
So it's an airborne disease as well as a touching disease. So you do what you want, but I'm in a store yesterday and everybody talking about the virus. I'm asking them the same question. Well, why are we here? Shouldn't we go home?
Right.
I'm through with it, man. Who wouldn't have signed and not signed?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely. Sports have come to a little bit of a standstill, and the fact that we've got something to talk about, not just specifically with sports, but our Dallas Cowboys have had deals done over the past 24 hours, and we've gotten into the legal tampering period. We haven't gotten the free agency yet, but plenty to talk about here on Talking Cowboys here this Tuesday. And let's start with some of those Cowboys storylines. Dak Prescott tagged. Franchise tag, the exclusive franchise tag. So at least as of now, Jerry, true to his word, saying we're not going to allow Dak Prescott to test the market even for a single minute. We're not going to not have his rights. Well, they have his rights. And now, where do the Cowboys go next from here? Because early in the process, Dak's party came out and said that if he were tagged, there's a potential for a holdout here. What is next for Dak Prescott? Is he going to be re-signed? I mean, I know the contract deadline is July 15th, so Mickey, we'll start with you.
Yeah, what is today?
This is March 17th.
How many months we have?
About 3 or 4.
4 months at least? 5?
Yeah.
Maybe? It's up to him. Does he want a $30 million signing bonus tomorrow, or does he want to have to work 17 weeks to get $31 million? I think they've made their offer. I don't know how much more they can give him. It's up to him. Does he want a signing bonus, or does he want to work like the rest of us and get paid by the week? And I think that's going to be the bottom line. He's either going to make $31.5 million at this point for 17 weeks, or he probably can make that in a signing bonus or more tomorrow. So I think it's up to him.
I sense a little frustration there.
No frustration on my part. I'm sure there's some frustration on the Cowboys' part, because if they can sign him to a long-term deal, he's not going to count $31 million against the salary cap this year, which will probably open up about $15 million at least for them to sign other players. So I'm sure the frustration is upstairs right now that they haven't got a long-term deal done with them.
Now, we've talked about this for weeks, and, getting the deal done has been foremost. But also, the tag for the team, like you allude to, Mick, is kind of a hold process for everybody. That $15 million is very important with getting some of the little guys or the special teamers and people like that signed immediately. It's been a lot being talked about with Dak and his deal. And I think the one thing that's really surprising for me as a fan is the fact that we got to this point. That why didn't this get done sooner? That we didn't get to the 11th hour and we have to deal with this. So I don't know who it's on. There's a lot of speculation on the years. There's a lot of speculation. I don't think on the amount, but the years is the biggest part that everyone's trying to figure out. Actually, what does Dak want?
And you don't know. It's never been said, right?
You know what?
But it comes down to money, right? It's pretty simple.
Let me say this here. And I try to tell everybody, this deal ain't going to get done. It's going to be a tag here. Some other guys going to have to sign, and it may get done then. But this, if it gets done tomorrow, I won't be shocked because I know how Mr. Jerry Jones worked. But I also got a feeling of how Steven worked. So, I try to tell everybody leading up to this, I say he's going to be tagged. I'm 100% sure that he's going to be tagged again. Because if Mr. Steven Jones is running the negotiation, he got a stopping point. Because he is here to manage the team and and to try to build a team within that. So I understand Dak as a player, get all you can get, I am with you. I understand how you have to build amongst his salary cap, what your values is, and trying to have other players on the team. So they had an impasse. And I understand it sounds good. I think this one time, the Joneses don't care about that perception of being in the media. I think they really want to get it done, and I think, like you said, somebody may want a 3 to 4, somebody may want a 5 to 6, and that is the biggest catch right there. So,
So you're not surprised by it?
No, man. No, he'll tell you. I've been telling everybody, on our other day, he's gonna get tagged, because. We laughed 6 months ago when he said $40 million. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what, y'all? that could be kind of true.
Kind of inching that way, isn't it?
So I'm not going to worry about it because we have Dak another year. The only thing that I've said and I continue to say is if he don't show up to training camp, and everybody keeps saying the terminology is going to change. The way they do things is going to change a little bit. And it ain't as easy to get on pages with receivers and new guys as people may think it is.
No.
So I just hope he don't miss. But if he does miss, I understand. I really do.
And you know what? With the new rules, it's only 16 practices.
Yes. Went from 28 to 16.
In pads.
And so what about the OTAs?
That's the same thing.
That way, they may not be any OTAs.
I was about to say,
things are going right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
So, off-season programs
so
on
if
hold.
this thing continues the way it has over this last week, he's going to lose a little bit of his bargaining power because he's not going to miss anything because everybody's going to miss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, to me, I would not want to be without a job on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if somebody's going to tell me I get $30 million today or I don't have a job or a paycheck on Wednesday, in this climate, I'm a little worried.
But the thing is, in their world, it's different. In the Cowboy world and the Dak world, it's different. They have tagged him, so now it's up to Dak to come in and sign it. But
if he doesn't sign it, he's unemployed.
Yeah, he is unemployed. But they ain't gonna let him go either.
No, I know they're not gonna let him go. So, I understand that.
It's one thing to be saying he's unemployed. If I'm Mariota, I'm nervous.
Right on.
Because you out there scouring the streets. He been tagged. So
he got traded.
Yeah. But I'm just saying he's still scouring. I mean, to be wanted, he's wanted. That's all I'm saying. To be wanted versus not being wanted,
Well, and the Cowboys want him enough to want to keep him around for a 5-year deal. Apparently, that's one of the big holdups is the fact that they want to sign Dak Prescott to a 5-year deal that would lead into that ballooning of the salary cap that we talked about last week on this show. Of course, the new CBA agreement has been agreed upon. That came down Sunday night. But now with that being said, the salary cap's going to balloon just how we thought it would. Those contracts are going to start growing up, like you said, and it's going to get up upwards of $40 million, $45 million by the time we get to the next couple of years, and some of these other contracts like a Deshaun Watson, like a Patrick Mahomes that are going to start finding their way into the market. Dak's numbers are going to only go up, which is why Dak Prescott's party wants
not going to
a
go
shorter
up
deal.
Not going up if he doesn't play.
Well, that's the other part of it that I'm saying. That, OTAs doesn't really worry me to that degree if he doesn't, because nobody's delivering a Lombardi in offseason, right?
Right.
And so, but
It definitely helps, though.
Well, it does, but at the same time, there are guys that miss OTAs for injuries and other reasons, So when it comes down to training camp and him not showing up for that, now I think we get into deeper water with that kind of holdout. But he's always been compared in this situation to a franchise tag with Kirk Cousins. And if you look at what Kirk Cousins has done, the amount of money that he's made during the franchise tag and what he just did by re-ing up with the Vikings on his deal, that should be a light at the end of the tunnel for someone like Dak. Now, obviously, we don't want to lose him to another franchise, but at the same time, that a deal is imminent for Dak. That's how I feel.
I'll say it again. You guys are talking like we're playing football.
Well, no,
right?
no.
We don't know that.
But
am I right?
But the thing is,
and if I got $30 million today, that beats possibly $30 million in September.
But you got to understand,
we're not playing football.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. But what if Dak is willing to say, all right, I'll take my chances of not being. See, this kid, and this is what made me realize, this kid dumped his partner at the beginning of this 2 years ago. Hey, I'm going with CAA, Mr. Francis, and whatever he say, that's what I'm doing. So from day one, he's told anybody that wants to look or even care about it, I'm in it for the long haul. He ain't changed. He ain't backed up. So now me kind of filling out Mr. Stephen Jones, he ain't backing up. So right now, this kid is good with not having him $30 million. He is good. The problem is going to be is he going to be good during training camp? Because eventually, football is coming. It's coming.
Well, we hope.
Yeah, it's coming. Eventually, it's coming. So, if not this year, maybe next year. Now, whether we be alive is maybe that's the question.
Come on, man, we gonna be here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Gosh,
I'd rather be alive with $30 million in my pocket than not working.
But the thing about it is, you think the $30 million gonna go away? It's not gonna go away.
It's not going away.
It's not going away. It's not going. He's not. This kid. If you don't know one thing about it, this kid is not panicking. So the $30 million that we may be worried about, he's letting you know. Nah.
Not at all.
Yeah, he's just letting you know.
All right. You bet on this coronavirus going away.
No. If it stays, okay, nobody get paid.
He doesn't get paid.
Yeah,
but if he gets paid tomorrow with a $30 million signing bonus, it's his.
That maybe not. That maybe ain't his thing.
Well,
you got. See,
he's got a better constitution than me.
A lot of people.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're not him. You got the principles. You're going to stand on Mick regardless. You got them same principles. We don't know what it is that you stand on, but he's standing on his principles.
See, now, the other thing, and Hekma's got a good point on the 4 years, 5 years.
Yep.
But what everybody's missing is when Goff and Wentz did their 4-year extension, they still had another year.
Right.
So they had 5 years of control under them, and they were able to take the signing bonus and prorate it over 5 years, not 4 years. So to me, if you want 4 years, then you get less signing bonus, because now I can't spread it out as much as I could over 5 years. And I'm sure that's what they're thinking upstairs.
Okay, and they have a right to think that. But Dak and his people may be thinking something else. So it's still going to come down to if Dak want to relent or the Judy Joneses want to relent. We keep acting like this kid is not have a common sense of what he's doing. He has you can think what you want about the money that he's negotiating for himself. You can think what you want, but this kid did not go from day one not knowing that this would be a possibility, that this may come. Now, nobody ain't know about the coronavirus.
I was about to say, nobody was thinking about this in general. Now, with this all being said, there are other contracts at hand for the Cowboys in general. You've got Amari Cooper, He's back. We'll talk about that in depth a little bit later. Byron Jones is walking. Breaking news, though, from Ian Rappaport as of 4 minutes ago. The Bears are signing pass rusher Robert Quinn to a 5-year, $70 million contract, $30 million fully guaranteed, as Robert Quinn is no longer a Dallas Cowboy, at least at the moment. Nobody signed on the dotted line yet. Wednesday is the official start of free agency, but Robert Quinn agreeing to terms with the Chicago Bears. So you lose Byron Jones, and you turn around and you lose Robert Quinn. By the way, the deal
Randall Cobb too,
Randall Cobb, but Byron Jones's deal, the highest paid cornerback now in the NFL, 5 years, $82.5 million with the Dolphins. That means $57 million guaranteed, $40 million in the first 2 years of that contract, and that brings me to the question. Now, I was originally going to ask, how big of a hole is it to fill for Byron Jones leaving? We've talked about it over the last couple of weeks, but now that it's finally here, how big of a hole is it? And then I'm going to add on, now we've got to fill a Robert Quinn-sized hole on that defensive line as well.
And that's why having to pay the tag hurts the Cowboys. It doesn't hurt them from money. Jerry's got the money to pay him, right? But I'll say it again, if you sign him to a long-term deal, you would have saved against the cap this year, which is important, $14 or $15 million. So you could have signed Robert Quinn to something that if he costs $14 or $15 million against the cap. And that's what Houston did on Byron Jones's contract. Mm-hmm. They gave him big base salaries in the first Miami. I'm sorry.
Yes,
gave him big base salaries in the first 2 years of the contract. He only got a $15 million signing bonus over 5 years. So you prorate that, it's just $3 million. But they gave him base salaries in those first years that were $11 million and then $14 million guaranteed. So that's $25 million guaranteed plus $15 million. He got $40 million guaranteed basically in the first 2 years. So what they did is the cap number, they got it high because they knew that the Cowboys couldn't give him that much in those first 2 years. So they were pretty smart, Miami, on how they structured the contract. And now the same thing with Robert Quinn. It'll be interesting to see how the contract was structured.
With the Bears.
Yeah, with the Bears.
That's an unbelievable amount of money, though.
I was thinking, so goodness. He made $7.9 million with the Cowboys last year on a 1-year deal.
Correct.
Kind of a prove it. So I figured $10 to $12 million a year over 3 years.
That's what we said.
Would have been reasonable. So now what did they
5 years, $70 million.
So he's going to be
$30 million
34 years. See, you got to see how the thing's structured.
Yeah.
Because it could be it's good for 2 years and then you're out and you don't have to pay anything after that. It's not guaranteed. So it'd be interesting to see the structure.
First of all, see
he hit you with one, didn't he?
No. First of all, I don't value like the Cowboys. I hope used to value. Mm-hmm. I can stand losing Robert Quinn if in return we can get Snacks Harrison.
There it is.
Okay.
See, one day somebody gonna realize that a one technique and a safety does count in this league.
Yeah,
but not more than a defensive end and a quarterback.
What allows most defensive ends to make the plays that they make?
Pass rush up front.
Up the middle. If you have a dog that can push that thing where that quarterback cannot see, Tony Wise has always taught us. He said Mark Tournay is going to make all the money and Eric Williams is going to make all the money. Our 2 tackles. Mm-hmm. He said, but Step, Nate, and Gogan, don't y'all for 1 minute think that if we can keep our pocket clean up front and have minimal penetration, that gives our tackles a chance to run these great defensive ends around the corner.
Right.
And so, if we don't get a dog to push them people, we'll have the E-Law getting double teamed again. We'll have a guy over here on the other side with 10 sacks, and it won't be worth nothing. You got to have them dogs in the front to push that thing. So they'll have a 2-way go. Our defensive ends can have a 2-way go. And so you got to get a Snacks Herring or somebody of that ilk. Okay, we lost there on Robert Quinn, but you got to get a dog up front to put that pressure, because even if we were signing Robert Quinn, my biggest concern going to be you got to have that dog up front.
Yeah, how do you cover the middle? And the biggest thing, just to answer your question, Kyle, is, I mean, it left a meteoric hole seemingly right now in the defense with losing Quinn and also Byron Jones. But to your point, and also looking at the new philosophy of the Joneses, with $27 million in cap space, dead money sitting on the cap last year, they didn't want to sign any of these guys. And it was for a reason why Robert Quinn had a prove-it deal. That production walks. But you have to know that they're looking at going into the draft, free agency, to get some guys. Look, they couldn't have imagined that Robert Quinn would have gotten coveted the way that he did in free agency. But everyone knew that Byron Jones was going to get a bigger contract than what the Cowboys were willing to offer. But I agree with you, Nate, when you say you got to get a guy that pushes the pocket so that you can give guys like DeMarcus Lawrence an opportunity, because he's Lone Ranger with no Tonto, basically.
Yeah, and see, I'm not big on saying, hey, watch the film, because you can make the film, me and Mick talk about it all the time, you can make the film say what you want. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about basic football.
Right on.
And you can have these two great defensive ends like Denver had for 2 or 3 years, but when they was their most effective, they had a horse in the middle. You look at how even the Kansas City Chiefs, as the season went on, they banked everything on 2 players. That's safety in the middle, and Chris Jones, the big defensive tackle.
Yeah.
When you got a beast in the middle, and the 49ers, look at them. When you got a beast in the middle that commands that you can't turn your protections, boom. So I'm not saying Robert Quinn is not a loss. Yes, Robert Quinn is a loss, but you have to start valuing what's there and what you need to do. So, yes, Robert Quinn is a loss. To answer your question, he's a loss, but not as big as most people think.
Well, and a lot of the conversation that we had leading into this week and knowing that free agency was upon us was, how are the Cowboys going to afford to keep some of these pieces? And out of the 39 contracts that have been signed over the last 24, or not signed, but agreed upon over the last 24 hours, the top 2 in terms of monetary value have been from Dallas. Byron Jones, Robert Quinn over at the top of the list, both 5 years, both upwards of $70 million. No other contract has been even close to that. The next biggest one was 4 years, $51 million for Kyle Van Noy whenever he went from New England to Miami. So it was going to be tough to keep those contracts anyways.
Tom Brady hasn't signed yet.
Exactly. There's a lot going on, though, and that's what I'm kind of getting to. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Amari Cooper. He'll be back with the Cowboys. And then where else do the Cowboys go from here in terms of filling some of these holes on defense when we return here on Talkin Cowboys?
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to?
Right above the subway!
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store to find out how to get one of our popular smartphones for $0 down, based on GWS One score September 2019.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
If Malik is better than me.
Nate is in the middle of a conversation that we've had throughout the course of the break. And we're going to carry that over into this segment because there's plenty to talk about. Nate Newton, Hekma Harrison, Mickey Spagnola, Kyle Youmans here with Talkin' Cowboys. And, well, we mentioned BYRON is gone. We mentioned that now Robert Quinn has taken a contract. Right. He'll be up in Chicago with the Bears. But we do have one player returning, and that's AMARI Cooper, as he was agreed to terms yesterday. 5 years, $100 million contract, sticking true to his word because a couple weeks earlier, or about a week ago, ended up saying, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy. I understand the value of being a Dallas Cowboy and having the star on the side of the helmet. He was offered big money, apparently. Reportedly, the Redskins out of Washington had offered him at least 5 year, $120 million. He decides to stay in Dallas 5 years, $100 million was the contract that Cooper and his party agreed upon in order to keep him in Dallas. So with that being said, he has more money going his way than both BYRON Jones and Robert Quinn each had in their deal. There were 4 top free agents at their position. Right now, it seems like half of those are going to stay in Dallas.
So, Mick, how does that shake down?
Cooper's?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen the inside of it. He's got $60 million guaranteed, but you got to see where the guarantees run out. Because, I heard somebody talk about, well, the Cowboys just spent $50 million against their salary cap. Well, he's not going to count $20 million this year.
Right.
It won't be because of the new CBA. They didn't have to follow that 30% rule on increased salaries. So
it's a team-friendly deal.
So he can get, for the first year, he could count, $10 million, depending on, the signing bonus was $60 million. So if you divide $60 million by 5, you get what? 11, 12 million per year. So it's going to count at least 12 plus a base salary. They can give him a $3 million base salary. He gets $15 million this year, and then next year the base salary will go up. So it matters how it's structured. That's a good deal for him. I think Julio Jones is the only one that has made more. But when he signed he signed an extension, and he had 2 more years left on his previous contract.
And that makes the difference. You talk about that a lot with guys having years still left on their deal, and that money being layered. So that's important. But I wanted to ask you as well about most of the time when there's a midseason trade made like that, that a guy has a couple years left on his contract. Isn't it more advantageous for the organization that's signing him to get him a new deal done? Because at this point, when he comes in,
if you can,
but obviously it puts the leverage back on him at that point. Because again, it was more of a let's see how your chemistry is with Dak. We gave up a number 1, but again, that leverage was given to AMARI Cooper and his agents once we didn't sign him when he came in.
No, absolutely, and it's always they didn't sign him. He didn't sign either.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a two-way street. Take you back to Dak. We don't know what he's asking for. Because if they've obviously made a player-friendly tag, right? Because they could have tagged him for $26 million instead of $31.
Yeah.
And then he would have had a right to negotiate with somebody, and the Cowboys would have gotten 2 first-round picks back. So, but they went ahead and gave him the exclusive franchise tag, which was $5 million more, and they're probably figuring, okay, well, this is probably where he's going to make per year. Let's just go ahead and give him that. So it was almost, to me, was like doing him a little bit of a favor.
Right.
That's a $5 million, it's only 5, right? 26,
yeah,
31.
Right. Come on now.
That's the difference between signing a long-term deal and being tagged, though, at the moment, or so it seems like.
To give you guys an example, like they re-signed Blake Jarwin. He was a restricted free agent. So the restricted second round tender was worth $3.2 million. All right, so the way they structured his contract, it's 4 years, 24.5. So everybody's like, well, he's going to make $6 million a year. Well, his cap number for the first year is going to be $3.25 million. So that shows you that when you give guys some money, you can reduce the base salary, and that's what he would have made. And his guarantees run out after 2 years.
Yeah.
So there's $11 million of non-guarantee in that $24 million. So again, you got to see the structures before you get carried away with, well, he's going to average this many million a year. If you fulfill the entire contract, meaning you better be worth it.
It's not like baseball where everything's fully guaranteed and it's averaged over a certain amount of years.
See, and that's what makes me realize each guy knows in his mind what he wants to do. That's why AMARI did what he wanted to do by saying, okay, this is where I want to be. This is how I want to do it. That's why I know when Zeke did what he did, you got to know what you want to do as a player, and everybody else is just everybody else. So that's why Dak is doing what he want to do.
Standing on principles, what you're talking about. He's
standing on what he want to believe. And so one thing I try not to do is what I would do. Because what I would do, ain't nobody going to pay. See, when I went over to the that store that they got over there, I went over there and saw like, wow, man, about 30% of this stuff ain't got Dak name on it. Okay, so I ain't telling Mr. Jones he can't make money. Dak ain't telling Mr. Jones he can't make money. But Dak saying this is what I think my value is.
Yeah. Now, how about the CBA and losing that franchise tag and the Redskins meddling with Amari Cooper? Because if we did have two tags, if we did have two tags, they would have had to give us a first-round draft pick for that as well.
But you don't have two franchise tags.
No, you don't. I'm just saying.
The transition tag, you don't give back anything.
You get nothing back.
You get nothing, okay.
And that's what he would have gotten.
It's just a placeholder in terms of
making a guy give you an offer so you can match.
Either way, they were meddling in our business trying to get Amari Cooper, and he was true to his word by saying that I love it here and I want to be here, and he signed for $10 million less.
You know, and see, Quinn wanted to be here too, but
Now, nobody was going to pay what the Bears just paid.
This is what I asked Mick is, by Dak hitting them for $31 million, did that keep us from getting?
It cost them this year, for sure.
You know, so
it's not the money; it's how you can spread out the money.
See, I don't go from in football with the salary cap. I never go from the positive side, and what I mean by that is, what's the worst thing can happen? Well, the worst thing just happened. They had to tag Dak. The worst thing just happened. They had to tag Dak.
They wanted a long-term deal.
And if they wanted Amari, they had to sign him. Amari said, I'm going to look out. I want to be here. So they got a little reprieve on that. Okay. But they would have let him go for the 120, you think? If it were Washington, said, okay, I'm going for the 120, Dallas wouldn't have matched. So the worst thing happened. But you was able to sign this guy. You lost Robert Quinn. You lost Robert Quinn and you lost Cobb.
You know, that's why I like Nate Newton. You know why? Because he looks on the bright side of things. No, we don't have Amari Cooper in the division because there's a chance a lot of reports before free agency said, hey, Amari would be a great fit. You know where? Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You know where Byron Jones would be a fit? Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Neither one of those happened. Amari gets back with the Cowboys. Byron does walk. He's gone, but he's in the AFC. He's with the Dolphins. You don't have to worry about him playing twice a year. You have a little bit of a bright side to this. You haven't lost your quarterback. You keep your basically top 10 wide receiver in the league. Would anybody argue that he's not a top 10 receiver in the league?
No.
I don't think so. But you keep a guy like that on your ball club, you're doing yourself a favor, even though you have two of the best players on your roster leave, which is going to leave some sort of hole.
Now we know we're going to be in the second tier of the free agency. We know we're not going to go out and sign a big name. But
there's still some guys out there.
But if you get the right guy in free agency, this will be like it never. The loss of Quinn and the loss of Cobb will be like it never happened. Because I gotta believe, as much as I love Jason Garrett, I gotta believe that Coach McCarthy has a little bit more to give. I just gotta believe that. I just gotta believe that they got a little bit more to the offensive punch than what we had before.
Of course.
I just got to believe, because if they don't, and we don't sign the right free agents on defense.
Yeah. Well, maybe today would have been disastrous if Amari Cooper had went to the Redskins, right? Because that would have been wholesale.
People would be up here in the building.
That would be wholesale sell-off. But Nate, you were talking before when we went to the break that the defensive guys have their work cut out for them, and it looks that way because of all the losses. But again, free agency starts on Wednesday, and when we get those guys in here, coupled with the guys that we have under contract, I think that those are the things that's going to make this defense as strong. Right now, it just doesn't look like it, and that's why you have the panic in the room, because there's a lot of defensive deficiencies right now that we see is blaring.
Well, you can kind of see that on the numbers game whenever you're looking at the Cowboys and what they spend on offense and on defense. Right now, at this very moment, the offense holds $123 million of the cap spend for the Cowboys, where the defense has only $57. That's more on offense than Kansas City, San Francisco, Green Bay, Baltimore, and New Orleans, and it's also less on defense by a considerable margin of those 5 notable teams at the same time. That's courtesy of Dan Turner on Twitter.
Yeah, but there's no quarterback out there probably costing $31 million this year.
Not this year, but look at Kansas City. They're about to have to pay a quarterback.
No, but
Green Bay's got Aaron Rodgers.
I know, but the numbers you quoted about the offense are a little skewed because...
It's a little skewed, especially in Baltimore's case, because their quarterback, who's an MVP, is on a rookie contract at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit skewed at the same time. But Baltimore, who has one of the better defenses in the NFL, they're only spending $98 million on defense, where the Cowboys are at $57. That's where my numbers are lying in terms of that.
Theirs should have just gone up if they signed those contracts with the guys they just got.
Well,
right?
They traded for Calais Campbell.
Yeah, and how much is he going to cost?
I think that's involved in this.
No, because it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't gone on there.
The thing.
I'll take a look.
So you got to be careful on those charts.
Yeah, the free agency, being that even if Dak would have signed and we would have had the money, this is the biggest year to date for free agency for the Dallas Cowboys. This is the biggest draft for the Dallas Cowboys, because you got to see last year, numbers don't mean anything.
No.
It still come down to wins and losses. We did not produce. The only person on that defense that I know that were elite was 2 people. I mean, and the 2 people, I'm not going to say Robert Quinn, because to me, he was a hell of a pass rusher, but he couldn't stop the run.
Yeah, deficiencies in the run.
Yeah. So, but DeMarcus Lawrence had an off year, and Byron Jones is gone. Mm-hmm. The other guys, even my guy Jordan Lewis, who I love at the slot, if he played more than the slot, he's just a guy.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to fill those positions. I just believe that Coach McCarthy, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, I just think offensively, he can do more with offense. I just think so.
Yeah, Mick, I wanted to ask you, isn't it ironic every decade the Cowboys find themselves at a crossroads? In year 2000 with Dave Campo took over 2000.
But this is nothing like
no,
that.
No. What I'm saying is we're at a crossroads, literally, because then you go to 2010 and interim head coach Jason Garrett comes in, and now 2020, here we are.
Every 10 years?
Every 10 years, it seems we find ourselves in this situation where it gets very interesting on what the identity of this team is going to be. And so offensively, we know that the juice is going to be applied by Mike McCarthy and his new philosophy. Maybe the terminology won't change because the offensive coordinator is still in place. And so those things we don't worry about. But defensively is where we're saying, look, this is where the biggest side that we have to make up, and we're going to have to bring in those players that do it. We have the guy that we got, Tristan Hill, last year. We can't just give up on this kid because, look, it's a second-round draft pick, and, he has to have something in the tank. Malik Collins, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to sign him. Looks like he's out of here. But we drafted Tristan Hill for Malik Collins. They play the same position. And Tyron Crawford, is he coming back?
He also drafted Taco Charlton, right?
Right. Oops. That didn't work out. I mean, hindsight is 2020 on that one.
That hurts.
He's playing with BYRON now out in Miami.
No, I understand what you're saying. But the good thing this year is they do have it's twofold, right? You've got cap space that they haven't had for a while, but they've also got more guys to re-sign than they've ever had in a while. because they got more free agents that they're going to, they have to re-sign. So that was always going to be problematic. So your money is going to get spread out, but it's going to run out pretty quickly.
The thing that, okay, I think Will, you can correct me because you're more into it, but from what I'm perceiving, Will is more in control of the draft now. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of committees. This is where I've always looked at the Cowboys kind of weird. It's always good for us to get in the room and break it down and
hash it out
and let's vote. But Mick, this is your show. So if we fail, you get fired.
Yeah, take that, Mick.
Yeah, right.
How about that?
But no, I'm
not
saying,
the other three guys with me.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying because you have a structure there. We'll find. I think, and I may be swinging out, but I think Mr. Jones and Steven and Mr. Jones gonna say, "Hey, Will, we're gonna lay on you a little bit more this year."
Yeah.
And so now he married these coaches with the players and let him do his job. We've liked certain guys. We've liked this guy. We've liked this guy, and we've passed on bulldogs for guys that he fits the position. Wow, man, really? Well, why he ain't doing nothing?
Mm-hmm.
And we all know now it ain't no perfect science in drafting. But when you see a dude that can do it and he's got the arm length, but he may be 10 pounds lighter and we don't get him because of that. No, man. I want to see what this new staff can do. I really do, because I don't think they was brought in here to say let's go 8-8 or
let's go win a division. Right?
Yeah, I think they was brought in here to do more. Now, realistically, I think we know that it's going to be a hell of a job for these coaches.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be a hell of a job. You agree, disagree?
No,
Nick?
I always thought it was.
Job, man.
And it was especially going to be a hell of a job for the defense.
Yeah. So.
And it's just getting hell of a more.
It's getting
Is that a
more,
word?
You just made it up right here.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
You can be at differences. And I'm, like me and Mick ain't seeing the Dak thing the same. And I love that and respect that. But somehow, some way, whether he costs us $31 million against his cap this year, or whether he costs us $15 million against his cap, we still can't miss on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, we can't miss.
You're going to have to go out and get some guys, whether it be in the draft, whether it be in free agency.
But it's easy to say that. But
it is.
If you go out and get guys, it does cost. So you got to do it within.
You got to make some
You got to
money.
do it within your budget. So my guess at cornerback, my best guess would be they try to re-sign Anthony Brown. You'll get a 1-year prove-it deal. So at least you have. I'll go back to you. At least you have Ike Holt there.
Yeah.
And then if you get Kevin Smith, I can just kind of work him in, and then eventually Kevin Smith takes over.
Game, hey, it's your
right?
job.
Then it's your job. So if you get Anthony Brown there, at least you got 3 corners you can bank on, right? And then you can, if you draft a guy, then you say, okay, I can look for a corner. Mm-hmm. If that corner's not there, well, okay, maybe I can get a defensive end. Now, at some point, you're going to have to go get a veteran defensive end that's out there that's not going to cost an arm and a leg. Because at this point, what you don't want to do is bring in a guy that the money says he's absolutely my starter. Unless that guy really fits your
Let me
scheme.
Tell you something, Mick. I'm going to have to take you outside.
Don't take Mick outside, man. He got the Jason show all day.
He's going to fight me to death. He ain't going to just give in. He's going to fight to the end. I wish you would say defensive tackle. Does it hurt to say defensive tackle?
I'll guarantee you their priority is not defensive tackle.
Even
it's
with
going to
the
be
new coaching
defensive
staff?
end. It's just like, did you hear what Mike Zimmer said about safeties and corners?
Right.
And they let the safety go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he said on the priority list, the safety's not real high.
Right.
Right? And that's what everybody's been saying around here, but no one believes them.
But see, the difference is who knows safeties and corners like Mike Zimmer.
That's right.
So, but they ain't proven over there that they know safeties and corners.
Of course.
Well, know them. I know what you're saying, but the priority is
and I
that
understand.
they've done pretty good with the corners, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Couldn't re-sign the guy because he was so great.
They've been doing okay.
Boy, did he get overpaid.
Yeah, a little bit.
Who did?
Xavier.
Byron Jones.
Byron Jones or Xavier Rhodes.
You would have paid him
good for Byron,
$17 million a year?
Mick, we're not.
I'm just asking.
Let me say this.
I'd give him 12 or 13.
Let me say this right here.
Say
we have to prove, and this is why I keep saying the new coaching staff. I think a lot more falls on Will McClay's plate, in which I love that.
It does.
And so, but with this new coaching staff, you have to understand the reason I want to see. Like I got new life for our corner. What is his name? Cheetah. I got new life for him. For Lewis. For if we can get Brown. You know why I got new life for them? Well, maybe if we do something different, maybe if the techniques are different. Because some guys, and I'll give you an example, the guy that left Kansas City and went to L.A., Peterson is his name. Mm-hmm. Now he's with Baltimore. When he got to Baltimore, they told him, they said, hey, man, don't worry about where you just left the Rams. Can you play like you played when you played with Kansas City? And he said, well, of course. His ability to turn around. A guy we had, an older guy, we had him for years, that we let go, went up to the Ravens. You got to be able to look at a guy and say he fits our scheme.
You're talking about Brandon Carr.
Brandon Carr.
Yeah.
He may be available.
But he had great success up there. And see, that's what I'm telling people. We don't know if the old coaching staff stymied some of these guys.
Well, let me ask you this. Like, and you look at the NFL, the teams like, let's say the Patriots. Bill Belichick has been able to extract more talent with less than anybody else in the league as far as getting guys to play to the scheme that he has. And so this defense, you're going to hope that with Awuzie, Lewis, Brown, if he re-signs with the Cowboys or whoever else, that we're able to extract that kind of talent.
Mike Nolan may have that touch. And I go and say this right here, though, but have you seen that New England players, when they normally sign with other teams, get a lot of money?
But then
they like us, and I'm talking about the Cowboys, you got to be able to look on that film and say, he can do what I want in this scheme at a high rate.
Yeah, that's what I mean about extracting that talent.
And so Bill Belichick will look at you, and he'll have his scouts, and he takes a more personal touch. Like you'll see him show up at Winston-Salem. What Bill doing at Winston-Salem? Because he knows
that's what I want.
This, and I'll give you a perfect example. For 20 years, when I played, you could not tell the New York Giants or the Pittsburgh Steelers still to this day what a 3-4 defensive end looked like. And that's the outside linebackers. They knew when they saw a guy, that's our guy. Whether they fall to him or whether they got to go up and get him, they go get him. Now I'm asking, are we, and I'm asking you, Mick, do you feel we got that type of defensive coaching staff in place?
I think you got a head coach that basically has already said, you get me a good player, I'll figure out my scheme.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think that's a good step forward.
I think it's a coaching staff that gives you a lot more flexibility than you've had in the past. That you think.
Yeah.
But with that being said, there's still a long way to go until they even get a chance to get their hands on some of these players, whether they're acquired or drafted, because we don't know what's going on with these dates and
what are they going to push back. What are we going to do when they lose a game, though?
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild.
When the summer comes, the stuff this what we're going through now pass, and all of a sudden we'll be
hopefully that's the case.
I got you covered.
Believe it or not, there are 31 other teams that are doing some things on free agency, including one that just signed a new starting quarterback. We'll tell you about that next when we come back here on Talkin Cowboys.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys and your favorite football team. Get yours today in the Stadium Pro Shop or at Stetson.com.
Your new apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not to?
It's right above the subway.
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store to find out how to get one of our popular smartphones for $0 down. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2019.
Essilor is a proud sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, helping fans see more and do more with our best vision solutions. Our lens technologies reveal a world more beautiful than you can imagine. For a limited time, get the Essilor Next Gen offer. When you buy the latest generation of Transitions lenses with select Essilor lenses, you can choose a second pair of clear lenses for free with qualifying frame purchases. Restrictions apply. Find a participating eye care professional by visiting EssilorUSA.com. Essilor. See more, do more.
So, you're shopping, and that's when you see it. Aisle 23. Dr. Pepper stacked from top to bottom as far as the eye can see. The phrase too good to be true comes to mind, yet there it is. A rich, delicious Dr. Pepper paradise. Wait, did that can of Dr. Pepper just open itself for you? They all are. As if to say, so nice to treat you. And even though it feels weird to talk to a can, you pick one up and say, it's so nice to be treated. Dr. Pepper, so nice to treat you.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Oh, do we have a break here?
Man, we live for this.
Guess
We're waiting
what
for
I
this.
have.
What do you
And
have?
no luck is required at Jack Black.
Thank goodness.
If you spend $75, you get free 13-piece Lucky Jackpot. So $75, right? And here's what you can get. Pit Boss antiperspirant and deodorant.
Pit
all over wash. Face buff energizing scrub. Double duty face moisturizer. And don't forget the beard lube conditioning
Nice.
shave. That's only part of the 13-piece free you get. So if you go to jackblack.com, getjackblack.com, and you got to do it by midnight tonight, sort of like the NFL. Deadline's 11:59 p.m. tonight, and you can get those 13 products free with your $75 purchase.
Come on, Chris, you got to hit it.
That's beautiful.
Good read, man. Good read.
How do you have 13 of those things? Do you put them in
they're,
like a...
they're small.
Oh, okay.
They're like
you have like
little
a basket you
travel-
put them into?
So we know what we're
travel
getting. We know what we're getting for Christmas from you
That's
this
right,
year, man.
absolutely.
I hope so.
Because if
I
I
hope
spend
so.
$75, I can give each one of you four.
Just
of them.
something,
There it
yeah.
is. Come on.
Go, throw it all out
Make
there.
it easy for you, Mick.
Hey, real quick, man. We're talking about this off air, man. Just real quick. What did Teddy get, Bridgewater?
3 years, $60 million with the Carolina Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater agreeing to terms. He's joining up with former offensive assistant Joe Brady, who's now the offensive coordinator over in Carolina. So he's got a new quarterback to play with. And this kind of comes on the heels of Cam Newton saying that, hey, Cam, you can go seek out a trade.
So 3 years, 60?
360.
That sounds like a pretty safe contract.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Pretty
man, it
safe.
is.
It's
It
kind
is.
of a prove-it deal.
It is.
It is.
As it should be.
I'm telling you, man. The kid can play.
You've always been really high on him.
North Turner high on him.
But Norv is not there, though.
But you
Nate?
know what? But that's what I'm basing it off of. If one thing that I've always, and people get mad at me, Norv is one of the greatest offensive coordinators in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows quarterbacks. Norv will go overboard and helping a guy reach his potential. And Darryl Moose Johnson said Norv loves Teddy. And I've always liked him. I knew him since he was in high school. And this kid has never done nothing wrong to show that he's not a good quarterback. Elite, I don't know, because he's never
had a chance to prove it.
Yeah.
At Louisville, good quarterback, Minnesota, until he ripped his knee up in practice.
Yeah.
You know, but
I bet you see him look back and say, Lord Jesus.
but that's the other part about it is with all these quarterbacks in free agency, like you said, Mick, somebody's going to be left without a seat once the music stops. Who is that going to be?
And Drew
Phillip
Brees
Rivers.
re-signed too, by the way.
Yeah,
2
2-year
years,
extension.
50.
Yeah. And so who is that going to miss the chair?
I think Jameis
Winston
Winston's
gonna
in
miss the
trouble.
chair?
I
You think it's
they
Winston?
may
I
not
think
be
it's
a
Rivers.
chair.
I think it's going to be Phillip Rivers.
Oh, I think he's going to the Colts.
Oh, you think that's
so
already
where
done?
Brady going? back home?
I'm thinking the Chargers or Vegas.
I think it's going to be L.A.
I'm finna ask a dumb question. I'm like, who's going to Tennessee? They already got.
Yeah, they got their guy.
They got their guy.
Imagine that Tannehill. And why did people tie that Tannehill deal into Dak in some way? Because he didn't get the same deal that Dak is looking for.
No,
not even close.
Not even close. But Tannehill got $68 million guaranteed, and he just turned around and handed the ball off to all-world running back. I mean, come on, man. That's pretty sweet deal.
But him and his people got with the coach and their people and the GM, and they know what they're looking for. They got a great tight end and a nice upcoming wide receiver. They know what they got. They got a good offensive line. They got a nice defense. They know what they got. They need a guy to manage at a high efficiency, and that was their guy.
They gave him 4 years, $91 million guaranteed. Now the package is $118. So the guarantee averages out to 22 point.
Well, he went from the scrap heap to the penthouse
pretty quick
in a year's time. Quick. That's like trading places there.
Well, that's what happens when you go to a conference championship game.
What's that?
Wink, wink.
What are you laughing at?
Don't text Mick about the Dallas Cowboys quarterback because he has done his homework.
Man, look at that thing.
I'm telling you, when you go at Mick on Facebook or Twitter, you better be correct because he's going to have every quarterback that's signed.
Nate, I'm afraid of that little book over there.
Yeah, man.
That thing is
and it's not like Bill's little green book.
No, it's not.
He don't have a phone or nothing. He's not Googling. He went right to. How does he do that, Nate?
Because he know the issue and the big talk is going to always circle around Dak. And so he's prepared at any angle to come at you.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now, with all this being said, we can talk about this deep quarterback free agency class all we want.
Right.
But there were some wide receivers on the move yesterday. One of which that I want to hear your reactions to. What was the first thing that went through your mind whenever DeAndre Hopkins was traded to Arizona?
But we know where all the toilet paper went. It went to Houston.
Oh, yeah?
For Bill O'Brien.
Oh, wow.
Something's wrong with Bill, man.
You know, my mom always say, you got to pick your words wisely. So which sound worse, dumb or ignorant?
I don't know. Probably a little bit of ignorant. That's a harsher word.
I mean,
do you want to use that one?
Is this kid is he a problem in the locker room?
Not that you know of.
No,
it has to be something that made him not do that. What made him do it?
Here was the bottom line. He was in the last year of his contract.
Yeah.
And they were trying to re-sign him, and they weren't getting anywhere. And I think they felt like they weren't going to re-sign him.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, let's get something.
A second. They got a second-round draft pick.
Got a running back.
They got David Johnson, who's a washed-up backup.
Look how you said that, Mickey. It's
second and fourth round pick.
You see?
Mickey was a little smug at that point.
Yeah, right. Come on. They got David Johnson and a second-round pick.
To tender him exclusive tag because this money still would have been up there and he would have hit their cap like Dak to get ours.
But how do you trade away that kind of production when you look at
they did it with Clowney, and that was the beginning.
Second round draft pick for Clowney.
Yeah, so it become. See, I understand New England and why they do what they do. They winning every year, but all you showing your players at that team right there, hey man, let's go out and play hard as we can play. Let me be by myself because the team ain't gonna never look out for nobody. Mm-hmm. And that, and the last person they paid was J.J. Watts.
But you got to get
and the other thing on that, he didn't have any dead money, so they didn't incur any dead money trading him.
That's right.
So.
But Bill O'Brien was up 28 points in the AFC Championship. I mean, not the championship, but against Kansas City. And there's a method to his madness. People may not agree with it, but he's been able to rebuild that team. And maybe with Cobb, and he has Laramie Tunsil on the offensive line. I don't just want to dog on him because he's had success in Houston, but the trade just didn't make sense.
Well, if you look at their wide receivers now, it's Kenny Stills, Cobb,
Oklahoma product.
And
a kid that can't stay healthy.
A couple people.
So what you're banking on and what you're saying, and I'm going to wait and see with you, but what you're saying is my quarterback is there. See, That is the thing that I try to tell everybody. When you look at Dak, let's quit talking money, and let's say, is he there? And what I mean by that is, okay, what you thought last, oh man, he needs somebody he can't tow the team. Well, I don't know whether he can tow the team or not, but the Joneses are asking themselves, is he there? By you getting away a piece like that, you telling the world
he's
that
there.
Your quarterback, he's there. Mm-hmm. So if we can get suitable, above, not that stuff we had a couple of years ago talking about by committee, but guys that have played and can play. Now I'm with you. It seems like every receiver they get besides him is a walking injury, But they saying their quarterback is there, man. Yeah. They are saying their quarterback is there.
And it's crazy how quick things turn around, because we were just talking a couple weeks ago almost that there could have been a Clemson reunion down in Houston with Deshaun Watson. Yeah. Sammy Watkins was potentially going to go to Houston. And then you've got DeAndre Hopkins there as well. That would have been something special. But instead, now Watson's all by himself down there. Now he does have Will Fuller, not a Clemson guy.
Will Fuller was the other guy I was trying to talk about.
Yeah. This dude can sleep and wake up with a hamstring.
He's got a hamstring injury.
But understand, and I understand that, the value he didn't get, he should have, if you're going to do it, you should get more for him, right? But he is in the last year of his contract, which devalues the trade value. But this didn't just spring up like this morning. He woke up and said, oh, I'm going to do this. So he's got to have a plan.
It's got to be a thing.
Maybe where he thinks they're going to find a wide receiver to sign in free agency.
I agree with you 100%.
Other than Randall Cobb. Because obviously that didn't happen overnight either.
But you got to ask yourself, and the one question I know, this is what you're telling your people. Your quarterback has arrived. Number two is...
Who needs a contract?
Yeah. Number two is ain't no better hands in the league.
No, he's got incredible hands.
And ain't no better clutch player. And see, I'm with you. Okay, you did what you did, but you saying your quarterback has arrived. So, but I know one thing. Will Fuller walked off the field.
Was it hurt?
Then what they got one called Nikki, Kiki, and all of them.
Yeah, one of those guys.
He walked off the field. Then the tight end walked off the field. And this kid all by himself.
Yeah.
This quarterback.
He had to do it all. Now, I'm looking at this right here, Mick, and it says that DeAndre Hopkins is an unrestricted free agent in 2023. However, he was trying to get a restructure and a new deal done. He was just trying to get his money done, which is the same situation that you're talking about.
Everybody does that. Once they see the market be reset and they understand that their numbers are higher than the next guy, they want to get to that point. And that's the same thing. I mean, you look at Atlanta letting go of their running back that had 3 years left. Freeman. He had 3 years left on his deal, and they asked him.
But could you see he wasn't that guy?
No, but that's
what you said.
That's my point.
The $39.5 million he left in his contract, there was no guarantees on it.
That's exactly what he was trying to grab.
No guarantees on him. Yeah,
that's what he's trying to get.
That's what I read too, Mick. I'm like, okay, because the first thing when I see a great player, a top 3 wide receiver, a top 3 quarterback or whatever, I'm like, why? And the first thing I ask Mick, why? Because Mick knew, hey, why the hell he signed this dude back? Because it got to be a locker room problem or something.
No. Now, when you say that Deshaun Watson has arrived, do you think that is also a part of the fact that, quarterbacks are getting paid the way that they are? That Patrick Mahomes is going to get paid. Watson's contract is going to be crazy.
I know we can't touch. Stop.
What do you mean, stop?
Stop.
Is that the exception to the rule?
Stop.
What? You want a high five? You want to What's the deal?
Let me say this right now.
Say it.
Ain't but one other guy in the league is able to talk about that type of. This dude here, I believe, can take any and everything and make it great.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes is here, Aaron Rodgers is here, and the rest of the league is right here.
But you don't believe Watson's money going to be right up there with him?
It's going to be right up there with him. Yeah. But I'm telling you, Mahomes is here, Aaron Rodgers is here, and the rest of them. Now, I don't know how y'all rank them, but that's how I rank them.
Well, at the moment, our time is here. we're here.
Right.
And so that means we're out of time. We've got to get out of here and go on with our days.
We're going to talk a few minutes after we get off.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
What,
now,
we got the news coming on after us? Or what?
Yeah, the 10 o'clock news, Bill Jones. No, we've got other things going on, but throughout the week, different scheduling here in the SWBC Mortgage Studio. The draft show is tomorrow, not Thursday, and then the break is Thursday, not tomorrow. So just wanted to remind everybody of that. But for Nate Newton, for Hekma Harrison, and Mickey Spagnola, I'm Kyle Youmans. Thanks for listening so long here for Talkin Cowboys.
Bye. This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!